people capping for something happening at Xbox where it's like an element that should be praised versus the entire, you know what I'm saying? What do you call it? The entire outfit over at Xbox or Microsoft Gaming getting praised. Well, first and foremost, let's take a look at what's going on here. And again, I know this is a multi-plat, but you guys we can't overlook the fact that this game that you see on your screen is actually coming to Game Pass day and date. It's the equivalent, like, just imagine if Baldur's Gate, from the reception that it's getting now, it's not as big, actually as big as Baldur's Gate as far as reception. Right now, here, let me show you this right here. Right now, it's sitting at a 92 on Metacritic, which is pretty good for, particularly for an indie game. But right now, as it stands, this is 2025's Baldur's Gate, right? As far as like big reception for an RPG that really comes out of nowhere and shocks everybody, right? Like, I think a lot of people was expecting Baldur's Gate to be a solid title. I didn't think they were expecting that. And I think Clair Obscur is a title maybe not as, piercing and as effective in the gaming community, but I think it's one that is in that same vein. Really comes out of nowhere, shocks a lot of people because it's turn-based RPG in a vein, you know what I mean? But it's a 92 right now, and it's coming day and date to Game Pass. So, and someone like myself, where I normally just indulge in PC Game Pass, I have Game Pass Ultimate. That gives me access to the console version, and the PC version, and the cloud access, and I got that for $8. I found that on kingun.net, and got, it was like, because what I do is I let my subscription lapse every month. I'm not paying for a particular time period where there might be games that I don't like. Now this time is a little different because, again, 3 games that I'm really interested in that I didn't have to buy, that normally I would have had to pay, let's see here, $150 for. I saved myself $150, and so far I've paid probably $15 for the access to all 3 of them. And that is Clair Obscur, that is Atomfall, and that is the Oblivion remake. Now, again, I am in the vein with people, and I get where people are saying, okay, MM, you're celebrating being a cheapskate. No, I'm not doing that. Hear me out. Because I am all about, now I'm gonna tell you where I would prefer to play these games. My number one place to play these, right now in the introductory phase is through Game Pass. It's through PC Game Pass, or in this case, this month, Game Pass Ultimate. I would prefer, if I'm going to make a long-term commitment to a game, I would prefer to do it first on my PlayStation 5, secondly on PC, because I don't have an Xbox. But even though I don't have an Xbox, this is a way for Xbox to still tap into me as a consumer and get at least a dime from me where they wouldn't get anything. Because if my options were, you got to buy an Xbox for this, let's see here, none of the 3 games that I named were exclusive, so I would not be buying an Xbox for access to those games. So yeah, so it's smart partnerships to go with Game Pass, and even smarter because they can get the dime for me. And if I'm like, you know what, I really like what I'm playing here, like in the case with Atomfall, I might just go and, I don't know if you want to call it double dip, but I might just go and buy it on the PlayStation 5. To, because I do like playing on my Pro. I want to build up a library there. And more importantly, because I feel like that, even though, with the 4080 tier on GeforceNow, I'm getting 1% gaming, and I'm getting gaming that, only the top 1% PC gamers can experience. I really feel like that with the PlayStation 5 Pro as of late, the optimization that is coming to these games as of late, they're being taken more seriously. I don't know if it's because it's an added addition or next leap of the PSSR technology or PlayStation 5 Pro technology, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it is, but I really feel like I want to build my library then. So if I'm going to dedicate and purchase a game, I'm most likely to purchase it for PlayStation 5. If I want to just trial the game and see what it's like, that's where PC Game Pass steps in. So you're talking about $150 worth of games that, because in this era you're really short pressed to not be able to try games like how you used to in the 360 generation. Me having access to PC Game Pass, me being able to play it on GeforceNow Ultimate on the 4080 tier and get that great output and performance. It shows me the best of the game, and then it helps cater my decision if I want to invest in it even further. So again, that whole pool of Game Pass opening up avenues, finally with more attractive games day and date, that can't be overlooked, right? And then because of this, now you got people, you even got PlayStation fans. I've seen PlayStation fans on Twitter say, hey, look, if Xbox That was weird. Okay. Yeah, I got to fix that. Okay. What's up, everybody? We're live. Hey. What's going on? Sorry about that. Just had to transition real quick and then put a video live on YouTube. We've been busting it out today. I had some time off today. I ain't got to go until a little bit later today. But yeah, man. We got an action-packed day. If you guys get a chance, you can look at my cloud dosage report on GFN getting the Mafia games. Does that mean that Take-Two is finally looking to partner with GFN and maybe adding Borderlands and their other games to the platform? GTA, we'll see. Also, V Rising. I got a My First Look demo coming for V Rising. I got to start over from scratch. The first one that I started kind of sucks.
Sean87 said, "Did you see the trailer for Ligma?"
Ligma? Hell is Ligma? Sean, please don't let this be no Tinky Winky shit. Hold on. Let's pull this up. The trailer for Ligma. I swear, if this is some Tinky Winky shit, my brother, we're gonna have a problem. Ligma.
Is it the Ligma balls joke?
Sean87
Ligma
said, "Ligma dick."
Is that what it is? Oh, okay. Oh, damn you, Sean. Let's see here. Okay, let's go. I haven't seen the Death Stranding 2 new gameplay, so I'm gonna live react to it. Say we played 2 hours. Okay. Where did PlayStation put something out there recently, or no? This is all coming from different content creators.
I think it's review sites for now.
I don't like going to IGN because they like putting goofy shit in their games. Is there somebody we can go to? Maybe Eurogamer? You think Eurogamer would?
Or the ones that say gaming is dead?
Yeah. Stranding to Eurogamer. Hold on, I gotta be able to find. Fuck. Because IGN is known for doing some weird shit. Okay, I think VGC got something going on. We played 30 hours. Holy shit, there's this. I would, damn, their video. Exclusive full demo. Who's Infant Terrible? Fuck. Damn it. All right, let me go to Twitter real quick, y'all, and see if I can find this gameplay from Death Stranding. We're not reacting to a full fucking. Here's what Jeff Keighley says. This is after 20 hours of Death Stranding 2. I can confidently say Hideo Kojima is set to deliver one of the best games of his career. The gameplay ideas are deeply refined. Can we get video? Does like someone have a montage video of like maybe just even 5 minutes of gameplay? Here goes copy link address. Here goes something from building Death Stranding 2. It says pre-orders begin on May 22nd. Death Stranding 2 hands-on report. Is this from today? Yeah. Hands-on report. Embark on a journey. Do they have video somewhere? Somebody? I would love to have like a montage video. All right, so I'm not gonna find that, I guess. Yeah, I'm not gonna go to somebody like Skill Up or whatever, because they're likely going to make me like it'll get flagged. Death Stranding, is it good? Hold on. Is this, how old is this? Ten hours ago. Okay. All right, here goes a 17-minute video from Eurogamer. I would have preferred to go. Yeah, I don't really want to go to them. I'd rather just go to IGN. Okay, let's give IGN a try. And if IGN does something weird, then we'll just go to them. They like to do a bunch of dumb, weird shit. Like there's some goofy Salt content creator and put Family Guy scenes and shit in there. Like King Thrash was saying. They'll do some goofy shit like that, like some goofy ass Salt content creator. All right. IGN. So let's look for IGN. Or hold on. Death Stranding 2 preview. We played it for 30 hours. Is it good? That's Eurogamer. You got Infant Terrible. We got VGC. They go, yeah. I would have liked to go to VGC, but they went a full fucking 30 minutes, bro. Like, hell no. Wood Kid. No. All right, so here we go. Let's do it. Let's try IGN. Help us, God. Help it to where they don't, please don't let them do nothing stupid. If they do, we'll just convert over to Eurogamer. All right, so here goes Death Stranding 2 trailer. Here goes what IGN had to say about it. You guys should be able to hear it now. I will pause the music. It'll let me. Here we go.
Nearly 6 years after the release of director Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding, we finally played the sequel, Death Stranding 2, on the beach. While what we've played was not the final version of the game, the playable portions demonstrated a density and completeness you would expect from a final product. Fundamental elements such as movement, dialogue, and presentation are highly integrated, and the intention to expand upon the experience that the first game delivered, no pun intended, was evident throughout. 2019's Death Stranding transcended the framework of ordinary video games by metaphorically depicting cosmology and even anthropology through the act of delivery. It was a game that challenged the idea of human connection through refreshing gameplay mechanics that fundamentally re-examined the very act of movement. To me, Death Stranding was an undeniable masterpiece that delivered a viscous flow of concepts. Now that I've played its sequel for more than 30 hours, I'm starting to realize that it may have been only the beginning. Death Stranding 2 on the beach can be seen as an attempt to take the premises of the first game to the next level. While taking the player on a journey across the border of the United States of America, its symbolic depiction of connection feels more dynamic, yet less certain than its predecessor. What questions will this new journey of legendary delivery man Sam Porter Bridges bring, and how will they be answered? In the first game, Sam reconstructed connections between people while uncovering the truth behind Death Stranding, a mysterious phenomenon that caused disconnection between cities. Through Sam's journey of delivering supplies, players experienced movement in a way video games had not offered before, while the story gradually unfolded its views on life, death, and cosmological visions. The setting of Death Stranding 2 moves from the rebuilt UCA to the Mexican border region. The photorealistic graphics that meticulously depict Mexico's desolate land are nothing short of impressive. From the texture of the dried surface to faintly rippling sand dust and rocky mountains in the distance, the game's visuals drew me in right away. Photorealistic modelling and subtle facial expressions of characters have also largely improved from the first game, and the art style creates an aesthetic that transcends mere realism, forming a powerful foundation supporting the game's surrealistic worldview and story. The part that plays in Mexico functions more or less like a tutorial, not just in terms of gameplay but also story and settings. While the first game overwhelmed players with numerous terms and settings in its early hours, Death Stranding 2 is conscious of being accessible even without prior knowledge. The game also offers a recap mode in novel style, as well as a glossary function called Corpus, showing careful consideration for players who have not played the first game, or those who did, but just like in the original Death Stranding, once again the player has to manage cargo weight and balance while traversing unstable natural terrain. Footing must be secured on slopes while the center of gravity must be controlled to avoid being swept away in rapid water streams. The risk of cargo damage is present throughout the process, which makes traversing the world itself a nerve-wracking task. Constructions such as ropes and ladders can be used to traverse the world more conveniently. These infrastructures go beyond individual player experiences, as structures installed by other players are shared in the world by the social strands system.
This is the aircraft carrier shelter you seized, previously owned by a small faction of about 800.
As you make use of ladders and bridges left by someone else, the solitary exercise of delivery gradually transforms into a more connected and social experience.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. I gotta do something because we can't have those fucking we can't have those videos. Hold on. We can't have those ads. No way, Jose. Minutes and 50 seconds in. I do want to do a quick. No, I'll wait till after this is done. No. I'm gonna do this right now. Look, for members, I've talked about
to construct monorails too.
With members, I've talked about political stuff, and I don't do it frequently here. And I'm not going to touch on the political, whether you pick what you pick or what you believe in politically. That's up to you. But this is a gaming channel, right? So as we talk gaming, I don't care if it's a political figure that we like or a political figure that we don't like. The message uniformly is anybody that supports gaming, we're with them in their support of gaming. Anybody that harms gaming, we're against them in harming gaming. Doesn't mean that you got to like them for everything that they do, or you got to hate them for everything else that they do. Prime example, I've talked about, Rush Limbaugh. A lot of people didn't like Rush Limbaugh, Rush Limbaugh that may have been on the other side of a lot of his beliefs politically. Regardless of all that, Rush Limbaugh was an instrumental in gaming not being destroyed. Why? Because of his political influence. He's found a conspiracy happening with one of the legislators out of California that was trying to get any games with any blood or any maturity rated AO, which would have made them considered them softcore porn, and they wouldn't have been able to be sold in retail, and that would have been devastating to gaming. He exposed him, and people then found out because of Rush Limbaugh that the guy, his name was Representative Yee, was actually doing human trafficking and transporting guns over the border and stuff like that. And he's in jail right now. The guy's in jail right now because of the heat Rush Limbaugh put on him, because Rush was like, why are you coming so hard after gaming? This is freedom of speech. You know what I mean? And I don't even think Rush Limbaugh was like really a gamer at all. He just saw that somebody was coming after freedom of speech, and he went after them heavily. And because of his efforts, you can pretty much argue that single-handedly he saved gaming, or mature gaming, because every game would have had to have been like Kirby after that. A lot of you may not be old enough to even remember that. I do. So regardless of, and he said some controversial things that a lot of people hate him for, or hated him for before he passed away. But for gaming, he stood up for gaming. So a lot of people that was aware of that put that to the side and was like, yeah, thank goodness Rush Limbaugh is using his influence to save gaming. On the flip side of that, I don't care if you did or you did not support the Trump administration, but these tariffs are about to do stuff to gaming. If they go as is, that's going to be demonstrably horrible. And the kick in the teeth is when you look at the scale. I'm looking at this scale right now of the average potential boost. Gaming is the highest. That's fucking absurd. Why? And on the trail, Trump has attacked gaming before. This is what I truly believe. He has no idea. He has no idea. He's like my mayor here, who has no idea anything about gaming, and he's being legislated, or he's being what do you call that? Lobbied by people that are informing him bad about gaming. So he gets on the podium and he says, "Yeah, gaming is horrible. Gaming's bad." He does that shit. Our mayor did that. I know him because my wife went to school with him, and we used to see him in the bank and all other shit. And I actually wrote him and was like, and just sent him bullet points on how, you're about to fuck around and find out. And I'm not saying it's because of me. He never personally responded back, but he stopped trying to blame video games for the crime in the area, right? Whether just because you don't like this, which none of us should like, doesn't mean that you don't have to support Trump or you don't like Trump. I'm not telling anybody to do that. All I'm saying is whether you support him or not, this you should stand firmly against him on and say, bro, when it comes to this, I don't like what the fuck you're doing. It's very misinformed. You need to change course, because, this is going to cause some domino effects that are not going to work in your favor. You know what I'm saying? That's what needs to happen. Everybody's capitulating and trying to plead. And I know that, quote unquote, he comes off as brash or whatever. If you followed Trump for decades, you got to understand that when he feels like that he doesn't have loyalty on his side, he lashes out. But when he feels like that he doesn't have the associate loyalty and everybody's separating from him, then he starts to capitulate. You're starting to see some of that now. So my suggestion is, whether you support him or not, doesn't matter. Open up your mouth. Say something about this. This is unbelievable. This is about gaming. You can fully support someone in 99% of what they do and say, but when it comes to this is going to be bad. It's going to cause some bad blowback for you. Like our mayor. I don't have a problem with our mayor. I didn't think he was doing horrible. But when he did that, I was like, oh no, tippity tap, 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 and sent the motherfucker a letter. That's what decent, civilized people do, instead of being so damn partisan about everything. Well, I can't speak up because I wear an R or I wear a D. No, it's not about that. Should nobody be affiliated to any of these fucking cults that they call a political party? Everything is based upon what works and what doesn't work for you. And the thing that's going to get me to jump up may not be the same thing that gets you to jump up. I don't wear a hat, a red or blue hat, and neither should you. With that being said, regardless if you do or you don't support said person, you can criticize them on a particular aspect. And this is what you better do, because this is fucking horrible. If there's any accuracy to this chart, this is fucking horrible. Okay? So I just wanted to say that, because I saw it while I'm watching this trailer and I'm like, what the fuck? This is unbelievable. All right. Let's go back to the trailer. I see you, Juice. You see Skill Up loves it. Yeah, I did see that. I would have loved to play Skill Up's response, but yeah, he's a content creator and my shit will get flagged and I got to wait 30 days for him to say, oh, it was okay for this MM2K guy. And I'm not doing that shit. So let's continue on with the trailer.
Which makes traversing its world a lot smoother. Highways and monorails require a lot of materials, forcing the player to utilize the game's mines to gather them. As a result, establishing trade routes has become more central to gameplay than it was in the first game. While traversing the world itself has become more convenient, environments have become more challenging in return. The width of rivers can double due to rainfall, and natural hazards such as earthquakes and sandstorms can occur. As a new feature, the time of day also changes in real time, which causes additional challenges for Sam. These natural elements interfere with player actions in various ways, such as footing collapsing due to flooding and earthquakes, or visibility worsening in sandstorms and nightfall. The sequel also boasts more room for customization. The Porter grade indicates Sam's current proficiency in a more direct way, while skill points can be used to enhance stats and obtain new abilities. You can specialize in either delivery, movement, or combat skills. This shows that once again, Kojima is utilizing 3 layers of gameplay in which the player can tackle the game's missions and obstacles. While delivery, movement, and combat skills can all be customized, combat plays a greater role in Death Stranding 2. In the first game, combat was limited and functioned merely as a way to secure supplies or to make your way through bases. Death Stranding Director's Cut already added infiltration missions into mule bases, but Death Stranding 2 builds more varied stages and systemized combat in the open world, seemingly as an extension of that. New human enemy forces such as bandits and armed survivalists appear, and their bases are designed as stages with simple 3-dimensional structures. BTs, or creatures that appear due to the Death Stranding phenomenon, also have new types. Larger BTs with stronger attacks make the combat more challenging than it was in the first game. Combat has become more tactical as well. By throwing a speaking doll, called Dollman, you can observe the insides of bases from above to grasp enemy placement and movement lines. While close combat remains important, remote stealth attacks with the Blood Boomerang, precision shooting with sniper rifles, and utilizing assault rifles and grenade launchers give the player a multitude of new options. It's even possible to put down Sam's backpack, allowing for more agile and nimble movement by completely separating him from his cargo. Weight management directly connects to mobility, which greatly enhances tactical flexibility. Whether to engage in direct combat, choose stealth, or avoid combat altogether, freedom of approach has increased when compared to the first game. You can even refund your used skill points, welcoming trial and error to find the playstyle that suits you best. As partially revealed in trailers, after a series of dramatic events, Sam will cooperate with Drawbridge, a civilian company established by Fragile. As the setting moves from Mexico to Australia, a new journey begins. A mobile base called DHV Magellan, named after the explorer Ferdinand Magellan who travelled around the world, functions as a hub for the player. As the name DHV Magellan suggests, the story steps into themes reminiscent of colonial domination. Furthermore, the rise of a private political organisation called APAC shows similarities with the PMC depicted in Metal Gear Solid 4. Since I haven't witnessed the story to its conclusion, it is too early to speculate on how these motifs will come to fruition in the full game. In Death Stranding, people were isolated and only porters traversed the dangerous outside world, which many noted seemed to foresee the COVID-19 pandemic. In Death Stranding 2, the APAC seems to resonate with recent movements of America's Doge. With such eerie points of convergence with reality, I can't help but feel that there is a significance worth noting in contemporary times regarding how connections will be redefined in Death Stranding 2. Of particular note is the presence of actor Luca Marinelli, who plays a mysterious man. Both Marinelli's acting ability and the presentation of scenes he appears in leave a strong impression. The mystery of who this man is and why he stands in Sam's way will have players speculating for sure. Marinelli and his character are just as captivating as Mads Mikkelsen's Cliff was in the first game. One concern I had during my 30 hours with the game was that I realized that the trailers contain content that delves quite deeply into the main story, to the extent that a lot of what happened throughout the game I was already somewhat aware of. Could it be that too much has been given away in the trailers? Or is there a big surprise awaiting players when Death Stranding 2's full picture is revealed? We can only eagerly await the game's June 26th release. For more on Death Stranding 2 and everything else to do with games, keep it right here on IGN.
Okay. There you have it, my friends. Oh shit. And I never changed. My bad. Here's what I'll do. I'll play the part back when I didn't change it. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. We'll just play this part and I'll mute it and let it play in the background. I do have a couple of questions for Cold Blood. So, but before I ask my questions, let me say this about my experience with the first game. I got to be honest with you. I played the first game for about maybe 5 hours, and I couldn't get into it. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm going to go back in preparation
It's
for this.
like the rest of you bots or X-bots that are just impatient as fuck when it comes to games like this.
No, that's
Y'all
not true.
needed patience, bro. I'm telling you, the game gets so much better. Bro, 5 hours is nothing in this game. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
You don't even get shit to do yet at 5 hours.
yeah. To me, that's a flaw. Like I'll give you an example. It's nothing to do with.
It's a flaw, bro. It's a flaw when the whole fucking game is like that. It is
No,
not.
it's a flaw.
You
No,
are literally
no.
I
I reject
stopping
that.
at the
I
point.
reject that.
No.
That's a pony
Bro,
argument. Y'all been using that argument forever. It is a pony.
No,
You want to know why it's a pony argument?
No,
because the reason why BioShock 2 got lambasted at first is because it took that game more than 5 hours for it to come to fruition. That's a pony argument, and it got lambasted.
Not with Death Stranding, no.
Yeah, it is.
Not with Death Stranding.
What do you mean not for Death Stranding? What do you mean? What do you mean?
No,
It's the same argument.
You cannot use the same argument for Death Stranding. No.
What do you mean? Why can't you? You just said that
Because
5 hours isn't nothing. 5 hours wasn't nothing for BioShock 2. BioShock 2 ended up being an awesome game, but it took too long. The pacing was too long. 5 hours is too long for a game to get good or get decent.
BioShock is done at around 5 hours already.
That's a fucking lie. You're lying. You can play BioShock for almost 40, 50 hours. Show me your platinum on BioShock 2. Before we go any further, no, you're not getting away with that shit today. Oh no. Show me your platinum for BioShock 2. I'll show you my gamer score for BioShock 2.
And
all the hours that I got into it.
As game, brother.
No, it is not. That is a lie. That is a lie. You're lying. Show me your platinum. Do you have a? Did you platinum? Did you finish BioShock 2? Yes or no?
Fuck no.
Okay, all right, there we go. Like I said, there are plenty of games to where you finish them and they are good. By the time, but they take too long
But then
to get into.
I tell you the same shit, bro. You did not play Death Stranding.
I'm not
You have
saying
no
that. I'm
idea.
not saying that Death Stranding doesn't. I never
No,
said
but
that
you
Death
did not play it.
No,
5
no,
hours is
no.
nothing.
It's two totally different arguments. I never said Death Stranding doesn't eventually get good. It probably does, but 5 hours is too long. Was too long for me. Just like it was too long for BioShock. So I never finished the game. I
Just
mean,
like 99% of the games you liked and also never finished.
No, that's not. No, that's not true. No, because there's a lot of games that I play and I'm like, God damn, this took forever and it's a flaw. I didn't say Death Stranding was horrible. I just said it was a flaw. It is a flaw. If it takes you more than 2 hours, I don't care how long your game is. If it takes you more than 2 hours to get your game going, that's a problem. And I love BioShock 2.
And be honest, bro, be honest with me. How much of that time you were in the settings of those 5 hours?
I didn't need to be. What settings are on PlayStation? It was just, I wasn't playing it on PC.
Since when did you play anything on PlayStation, bro? Like, you play all your shit on GeforceNow.
No, GeforceNow wasn't even out at the time. What are you talking about? There was no settings on PlayStation.
2019? No, I mean, well, no. When Death Stranding came out on PC, GeforceNow existed.
No. I played it on PlayStation. Didn't play it on no PC. I played it on PlayStation. And it took too long for me to get into it.
Wait. You played that on a PS4?
Yeah. Why
did we never hear about it?
No, I've said it before. You never were paying attention. I said
No.
I said I played Death Stranding.
You never said you played Death Stranding. You said it's fucking dog shit. That's what you did.
No. I've said on multiple occasions that I've played Death Stranding and I didn't play it for long. On multiple occasions. You just were not paying attention, or you just assumed because what you did in the back of your mind, just like you just did.
You just never mentioned it, bro.
It's bot logic, and you just you bought no, hey, nothing to do with no bots.
Bro. With a story game like this, bro, it is bot logic.
No, it's not.
5 hours game is not good. It's too slow. Fuck it. Yeah. I play Halo. I play Gears. I don't play Halo.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't even like Halo. Past Gears 3, I don't play Gears.
I go back
that ain't got nothing to do with it.
I go back to Division.
And all the games that I play, dwarf Death Stranding in hours. So it's not about not putting time into a game. Every single game that I usually play dwarfs Death Stranding in hours. And even with those games, if they took more than a few hours to get good, that's a flaw. So if I'm not reviewing the game for a purpose, I'm likely to put it down. So 5 hours, I don't care. In a game like BioShock 2, which I almost put, if I wasn't reviewing BioShock 2, I would have put that down. But I end up loving that game. I ended up liking it more than I liked the first one. It's just that the pacing was too bad at the beginning. That's a flaw. I ain't gonna let y'all get away with that shit. We ain't gonna pass that on as bot logic. Oh, damn it.
No, it is bot logic. If a game is slow burn, it's bad. Like, what the fuck?
No, a game should not take. I can get 2 hours. Maybe 3.
If a game never does get better than the fucking beginning, okay, I give you the fucking point. But with Death Stranding, it opens up so much. It's fucking crazy. And you refused to play it beyond that.
Yeah, I did.
You just refused.
Yeah, 5 hours is too long.
Okay, good.
And that's why.
No, good that you said you refused yourself a fucking great experience. Okay,
whatever.
So that is bot logic. Just
No,
like
that's
almost
not bot
everybody on
logic. That has
Xbox.
nothing to do
On
with bot. A lot of
Xbox,
people,
brother.
a lot, no,
On
no,
Xbox. Wait,
no.
wait,
a
wait,
lot
wait,
of people
wait.
do not waste their time over games just to see if it gets good over 5 hours. No.
All
If
I
could
gotta
warp,
say
if
is
I could warp to when it
most
gets
of
good,
you
that's
bots
different. That is not bot
never
logic.
get done
That
with a
ain't got
game
nothing to do
beyond the
with bot
first act.
logic. No, no.
Get out the
That
first
is
mission,
gamers.
bro.
That is gamers sitting there saying, this is too long for this to get good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to sit here and suffer through. You should, if you got to suffer through any amount of time for a game for it to get good. Not, the game is good at the beginning, but it really excels after. No, that's not what we're saying. The game is a sloth. It is boring. It is torturous for 5 hours or more, and you got to suffer through a game for it to get. That is a flaw. In no game, whether it's a game that I finished or liked, or a PlayStation game or a PC game, should not be like that. What'd you say?
It is you who suffer.
No, a lot of people suffer through it. That's why it took several years for Death Stranding to get its due. Because after it hit PC, and people
that finally are open, bro.
No, it's not finally. It didn't get its recognition until it hit PC, and people did just suffer through those hours and play it longer. That's why it happened. And then once word of mouth came by, you know what? After several hours of suffering, the game does get good. People said, okay, let me give it a second shot. That's a flaw. It's right there. You're proving my point. But the fact that people had to hear word of mouth that after several hours of suffering is good, that's a flaw. I should be able to pick up your game and within the first few hours feel like, this is interesting enough for me to keep going. Let me keep going and see if it gets better. That's a flaw. And hopefully the pacing is better with Tues.
You are the flaw, brother. You are a flawed gamer.
No,
you cannot concentrate on anything for 5 minutes.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Before you need
the average game that I play is longer than the average games that I play are longer than the games that you play combined, maybe except for Call of Duty. That's absurd. I put hundreds of hours in games that I play. That ain't got nothing to do, it has nothing to do with attention span. It is, if it's not good, I'm not saying it has to be excellent. If it's not interesting for 5 hours, you sit for 5 hours and play through something that's not interesting? That's not a flaw. I didn't say that made the game horrible, but that's not a flaw. That's crazy. RJ Committee says you can't critique a game. That's bogus. You can critique it if the beginning is horrible. It's horrible. You can critique any game. You can look at a game and say that looks like trash. If the graphics are bad, that's stupid. You can critique anything. You guys do it with bots all the time. You guys look at an Xbox game and say, that looked trash. Crackdown 3 looks garbage. Did you finish Crackdown 3 before you critiqued it? No. This has nothing to do with the fanboy thing. This is a flaw with the game. The game had bad pacing at the beginning, and hopefully this time around it has better pacing. And by all accounts, it does have better pacing. But I'm not a Kojima stan. That's what it is. Y'all are Kojima stans. And you're like, because of Metal Gear, I'm just going to sit here and glue my eyes open and play this until it gets good. And it just happened to get good. I'm not a Kojima stan. I don't care who you are. If I sit down with your game for several hours, unless I'm reviewing the game, after 5 hours, I'm likely to put it down. Prime example, Bethesda. I was a Bethesda fanboy. If I was not reviewing Starfield, so I could do full analysis of it, I would have put that game down and been done with it. After 30 hours of that game was trash. So it has nothing to do with attention span. That's 30 hours I can't get back though. So outside of a defined purpose, which I'm reviewing the game, why am I going to waste 30 hours that I could be playing something else? Games are an enjoyment. I don't owe any of these developers anything. If you guys feel like you owe Kojima something, that's on you. I didn't get branded on the back of my neck with a Kojima Kojima stamp. I don't owe no developer anything. You respect, I'm paying you, and you got to respect my time. 5 hours is more than enough for a game to present at least something interesting. Whether the game is 30 hours long or 3,000 hours long. And that proves my point right there, that so many people rejected the game after playing it because it took too long for it to be interesting. That was a pacing flaw. It sounds like that he learned his lesson because of what everybody is saying. And hopefully that's it. I hope this one ain't another 5 hours. That's ridiculous. I thank you for your comment, RJ McCready, and welcome to the channel, but no, absolutely not. I get that. I ain't trying to be mean, but I get that. I'm not a Kojima stan, so I'm not gonna make excuses for anybody. Even if I was a Kojima stan, I'm not making excuses for anybody. I'm not a big Metal Gear person, but Metal Gear never took 5 hours to get. That's insane. The fact that you guys are trying to defend that or make a defense of that is crazy to me. That's stand behavior. No developer, especially if it's a AAA game, no developer. Does it take 5 hours for your game to get interesting? That's indoctrination. Hell no. I love the first BioShock. When BioShock 2 took that game 8 hours to get into. I was like, what the fuck is this? What is going on here? And I almost put it down, but I was like, no, I gotta do a review of it. And then like hour 9, hour 10, the game broke wide open. I was like, holy fuck. Damn, this ended up being my fate, but no. You gotta find a way within 2 to 3 hours for interest to at least be present in your game. You can't build interest in 2 to 3 hours. You have a pacing problem. You need to go back to the drawing board and shave 3 hours off the pacing problem. But hopefully this time around, he learned his lesson, and it sounds like he learned his lesson. But with that said, yeah, I'm sorry, brother. I couldn't let you get away with that one, because I know plenty of bots.
No, I told you, brother, I don't care what you say, not with Death Stranding. You cannot put it on the same pedestal as the rest of them. No.
That's your opinion. I'm not giving no game. I don't care who made it. I'm not, again, and I'm not saying the game is bad. I'm not saying, oh yeah, this game shouldn't be played.
Oh, you actually do, because you only played 5 hours of it and said fuck it.
No. I'm not.
Yes.
No. See, this is again, this will help you better understand where I'm coming from. I can't speak for every gamer. You think you can. That's where you're running into a wall. You do not have the palate to speak for every gamer. I would never tell every gamer that you can't. If the game isn't good for 5 hours, don't try it, because I won't. I'm just simply saying that for average gamers, for you to loop them in like you want to, your game better show some interest within 5 hours. But if you feel like, oh no, my threshold is 10-20 hours, then okay, there you go, have at it. But I'm just letting you know that if you don't want to go through what Death Stranding went through, and the only reason why Kojima was able to survive it and he made a sequel is because he is Kojima. There are plenty of games out there where people were like, oh man, that's a shame. That game really opened up after 4 hours. That just like, so, and they never get heard of again. It's only because it's Kojima did he get a second chance. And that's okay. That's fine. If people can find goodness out of it, that's great. But I can't speak for every gamer. You guys think you can. I'm not telling people not to try it. I'm just sitting there saying that if a gamer says it's not out of the ordinary for any game. If a gamer says, you know what, nah, I don't have 5 hours, because then again, here we go. Say I sit down there and I do something that I normally don't do, which is sit with the game past 5 hours. I sit with this game past 5 hours. Let's say if I get the hour 20 and I still don't like it. Then here, based off of other people's projection, did I say, this game is great? That's not a guarantee for every game. So I can't tell a game, but I'm just sitting there saying that on average, a gamer's not going to sit with a game that they don't find at least interesting within a 5 hour time period. But if they do it, that's fine. Since I think Expedition 33 was excellent, game changing, no, excellent, yes. Yeah, I like Expedition 33. And I'm still early in the game, but it's caught my interest. You know what I'm saying? It's, I'm not blown away yet, except, the thing that blew me away the most was that one cutscene. I'm not blown away yet, but it's interesting. It's not bad. So I'll, still interested in playing it. But it sounds like that they got the combat up a little bit more. It sounds like that they got more weather elements in it. What, to you, Cold Blood, what was the biggest pull in the first game? Like, because combat apparently was sparse.
Bro, the story was fucking amazing, but like I said, I can talk about it with you because you never even tried.
But don't worry.
Past the point where it gets fucking nice, bro.
No, I'm gonna. You can talk about it, because all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull up. I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna pull up like I did with Horizon. I'm gonna pull up what do you call it? Pull up a video and watch and watch the synopsis via video. So no, you can talk about it. So for you, it was the story.
Yes.
What about go ahead.
You only find out about all the why it's called the Stranding and everything when you actually play the game. Like you're not gonna find it out in the first 5 hours. And of course, bro, how he made the exploration, bro, that is some insane shit. Like nobody did it before like that.
Tues32877 said, DS
Like,
sold
you
19
literally have
million
to
copies
build
on PS4,
three-
that's
you
why
have
it
to
got a
build-
sequel.
My God, can you please turn it off? It gets on my fucking nerves, bro.
What, the text to speech?
Yeah, text to speech, bro. It's so bad. Like fuck. It's okay. It's okay when we do game streams, but nah, bro. When we talk, it's just so annoying.
No, but go ahead. So you were saying that the traversal, how you like the traversal?
Yeah, bro. Like it's insane. The amount of stuff you can do in the game, like build shit, and when you come back later, all of a sudden other shit appears from other players and stuff. Nobody did it like this before, brother.
Now, Juice, you said it's 19 million on PlayStation on Death Stranding.
What? 19 million what?
He said it sold 19 million on PlayStation 4. I don't know about that.
No.
No.
5 million probably on PlayStation and then some on
on PC. Yeah. 20 million players
Bro,
across.
I am not bro, I'm not gonna argue with you about its success as a game, bro. Like, I don't give a damn. What I'm arguing about is people are too fucking impatient. Too impatient. You know what you get into with a Kojima game when it's about fucking story. You ain't getting the whole story in the first 2 hours. Fuck no. You get it slowly.
It says by March 2025, the game had surpassed 20 million players worldwide across PS4, PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox, iOS, and Amazon Luna. So yeah, it's 20 million across the board, Juice. It ain't 19 million on PlayStation 4. But no,
Yeah,
more into the sequel.
If we go by on every fucking device, sure, it probably has 20 million players.
Yeah.
But how many of those actually paid for the game? That is what, in my opinion, is the success of a game.
And well, yeah, but even though it sounds like that it had 5 million hard sales, which is okay, which is fine. It's not I don't think it's a bust. I think even more important for it though, like it was in all these streaming services, which I'm pretty sure that Kojima got a pretty penny from these companies to put it in a streaming service. So even though it may have not gotten the sales initially or even cumulatively, I'm pretty sure Kojima, he went to Game Pass, PlayStation, probably not so much because of the partnership that they have, but I know he raked Apple against the coals as he should have, and particularly Amazon. He probably went to Amazon and said, "You want Death Stranding in your service? Yeah, give me 11 Kojima dollars, which is $100 billion or whatever." You know what I mean? So he probably made up for whatever sales it didn't get in licensing the game to these streaming services, which it's more than okay to me. So I don't think it was a bust. It just had to go through a different strategy in order to get, But again, it sounds like we got to get in the habit. And I'm not trying to be dismissive to people that regularly play Kojima games. The fact of the matter is, though, we got to talk a little bit more broadly, when we're talking and be a little bit more understanding when it comes to games. And especially if you want to widen your footprint. Everybody's not a Kojima gamer. It's like Final Fantasy. Everybody's not into Final Fantasy. And I'm not saying Final Fantasy is not a good game. It looks like a quality game. Like I never said Death Stranding was not a quality game. For me, it just didn't appeal for me because of the long wait to get into something interesting. Final Fantasy is a quality game. But because of the lack of global interest, you got to do one or two things. You either got to put yourself in the best position to tap the demographic that it's for, or you got to broaden your appeal. So in the realm of Kojima of Death Stranding, it seems like that he realized, you know what, I'm trying something new. I'm trying to widen out, and where combat isn't so much a thing. Maybe I didn't do it the best way the first time around. He realizes that, and he's broadened his appeal without hurting the essence. Because everybody that's a fan of 1 says 2 was even better. And he was able to broaden his appeal.
32877 said, "I was like you, I didn't get into it until the director cut MM2K. Give it another try, trust me."
If I can't warp to where, no. No. I'll just do what I did with Horizon Zero Dawn. I'll just watch the thing, and like Horizon Forbidden West, I love it. I love it because number one, okay, you guys are telling me because of the story. I'm not a story driven person. I'm an old school gamer person. The thing that moves me is your gameplay. So I gotta, if I'm not convinced that the gameplay is going to take me, and again, that's me. If I'm not convinced the gameplay is going to take me, I'm not going to waste my time because there's other games that I could play where I'm convinced the gameplay will take me. I would hate to get through several hours and still be like, you know, so I'd rather just see how the story progresses and then play the sequel, which by all accounts is better and is going to grab me more. I did that. It worked with Horizon Forbidden West. Prime example. And I'm not saying that Guerrilla and Kojima are the same. I've played a lot of Kojima games and I've never really been a super huge Kojima like stan. I'm not saying the games were horrible. I just never was as compelled. So what I'm going to do is just go through the first one and just see what the story's all about, then get into the second one myself. Because the same thing happened with Horizon Zero Dawn. I kept trying that over and over again. Next thing I know, I'm like 20. The first time I was 14 hours in, went back to it, got 20 plus hours in, and still was like, no. But I get to Horizon Forbidden West, then that first motherfucking hour, you know, I'm like, oh, this is the shit. You know what I'm saying? Okay. They learned from their prior mistakes and took an experience that was impactful to this group of people and made it even more impactful to a larger or a more broader group of gamer. And that's what I feel like Death Stranding 2 is going to do. So I'm all for it. I've heard a lot of great stuff about the director's cut, but I got Expedition 33 to finish. I got Atomfall to finish. I got a backlog. I still got to finish Stellar Blade. I'm gonna watch the story, and then I'll get into it. And trust me, like one of the people that told me that, Nethos was with me like, oh, that's first few hours. Then Nethos said, you know what? I have nothing to play right now. And he went and he finished Death Stranding. And he actually came back to me and said, Moss, just like what you're saying, Juice. He said, man, he said, it took that game a while, but he's like, I loved Death. He loved it. He said, man, after a while, I was doing all types of shit in Death Stranding. I said, good for you, brother. Good for you. I don't doubt you. But I'm gonna take my chances with the second game, which I feel like we'll learn from the first game, have better pacing, be better altogether, and I feel like I'm gonna go through the same thing I went through with Horizon. Because Horizon is so much, and that's another game I gotta finish. So,
we get back to what I said. What fucking game did you actually finish?
Yeah, I ain't gonna front. I got a cemetery of games that I got a lot of games that I gotta finish, but I want to finish them. Is the thing. Like, I'm eager to get back to them. It's just, something else comes out and I'm like, oh shit, let me get into that one, and then rinse it, and then something happens and rinse and repeat. And then when your time is, if I had 5 hours to sit and suffer through, I'd do it. But, well, really, I ain't got to suffer through it now, because I'm pretty sure that if I play it on PlayStation 5, like, I should still have my save. Is Death Stranding in PS Plus or whatever? Oh no, I got a copy of it. I'm pretty sure I got a copy of Death Stranding. Let me check. Yeah. I own a copy of Death
But
Stranding.
you would need to go to the PS4 version first, upload that save, and then go to the PS5 version.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Yeah, it's in my library. I'm pretty sure of it. Hold on, let me check my PlayStation thing. Yeah, so yeah, I wouldn't have to suffer through those 5 hours. I think I got to the city, I was just like, ugh. But with so many games out there, and I don't want to have to wait. That's the thing, is like, I don't want to have to wait to finish that to get into this. I'm just gonna watch the first one. And then hop in the second one. Let's go. I might have even bought the director's cut. I think the director's cut on PlayStation was on sale. That's the director's cut. Oh no. Oh no, this is PS5 Digital Deluxe Edition. Okay, yeah. I have the standard PS4 edition. And it's not in PlayStation Plus. I got the regular standard one. So I guess I can do a $10 upgrade maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see. All right. So that's that. Everybody's impressed the hell out of this game. And they're saying by all accounts, like, nobody's walked away from what I've saw. Nobody's walked away. Hold on one second. It says Digital Foundry on GTA 6. Well, we now know they were wrong about the gameplay side of it. Digital Foundry always brings us back down to earth, though. What does everybody think of the analysis? Hold on. I gotta hear this just for 1 second, and then we're gonna go to Mafia Old Country. Hold on, I want to hear this real quick. We could talk about this one real quick because I find it interesting, the reaction to this. Let's see what they say. Are they playing
some letterboxing? Now, the letterboxing is at a bit of an unconventional aspect ratio. It's actually 20:9, according to my counts here, with a 1728 pixels of actual viewable space on that vertical axis. And so if we do a bit of a calculation there with the ratio times the actual vertical resolution, it ends up at 2560 by 1152, roughly that resolution there for the content in this trailer. In terms of the overall image quality here, it's a bit interesting because this is like the one area of the trailer that does kind of bring you back to earth because it's clearly like
Yes.
being upscaled. Looks like using a spatial upscaler to my eyes, and I think to Alex's eyes as well. It looked kind of FSR1 like. It has that kind of curved radius around certain edges, especially like distant edges, fine geometry that kind of give it away a little bit there. There's some questionable stuff on the reflections, like some aliasing, some ghosting there. Hair is a particular sore spot. You know, between all the techniques they're using here, which I'm sure we'll discuss later, I'm sure there's a lot of detail.
Okay, all right. So this is Rock Station. I'm going to say this, and y'all let me know what y'all think. The 30 frames per second argument, I don't even want to get into right now personally because I have no idea. I'm not a developer. I am comfortable in saying that my expectations are either one or two things are going to happen for the base models. You're either going to get a full-fledged 30 max mode, you know, with all the bells and whistles, and maybe a performance mode at like 40 frames per second, like with VRR and shit. You'll get a 40 frames per second mode with a lot of shit scaled down. Either that, or you will get a 60 frames per second mode, a 60 target mode, but it's gonna be it's gonna be like super muddy, super low. And as far as the PlayStation 5 Pro, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's a fail on the Pro if there isn't a 60 target mode that at least can render at the very least, what, 1200p? If we can upscale from 12, if we can't get that at like high, medium, or medium, or at high, medium settings, if we can't get that, then I think that's an L. And it definitely wouldn't be a game that, you know, everybody doing this damn talk about $100 a fucking game, $100 for the game. To me, that's crazy. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the frames. I have no idea. Here's what I can say though, that yesterday, or the trailer from the day before yesterday, the purpose of that to me was to show everybody the tech that they're using. It was like to show you how impressive the tech is that they're using. And I think what they did is they purposely took out vertical slices of like cinematic views of actual gameplay. Like there's the parts where they're driving in the car, the parts where he's watching TV, the part where she fell out of the window. I think that's gameplay. And some of the, like the scene in the helicopter and the scene where she's shooting, that would be gameplay. I think they purposely took those vertical slices of like cinematic scenes. Well, where she jumps out the window, that's not a cinematic scene. That's actual gameplay where she jumps out the window. I think they did all that, and they put the gameplay in the cutscenes side by side and made them indistinguishable, because they knew people would say, and including me, because I got caught up in this, they knew people would say, oh, if this is running on a PlayStation 5, these are all cutscenes. And they were waiting for somebody big enough, possibly Digital Foundry, to say that so they could come out there and say what they said. This was all pre-planned. And I think the biggest point out of yesterday, because I don't think we got an answer on frames. We don't know. We don't have an answer on that at all. We have no idea. I think the biggest message out of yesterday was stop listening to Digital Foundry. Like, please stop listening to them. You're doing yourself a disservice. There has not been one trailer that Digital Foundry sat and looked at and got right. None. I can't think of any. I don't know if Cold Blood has ever seen any. I can't think of any. But stop paying attention to Digital Foundry.
They got Hellblade 2, right?
No, didn't they get that one wrong too? I thought they got that one wrong.
No, they said it's a fucking tech demo. It was exactly that, bro.
And yeah, but I think they got it wrong as far as like over purporting what it was going to, you know what I'm saying? Like I think the finished product end up, I mean, don't get me wrong. No, we know Hellblade 2. No. I think they may have done it in reverse. I think they may have made Hellblade 2 sound worse than what it was. You know what I mean? They just, Digital Foundry, they're no good at this, man. They're no good at preemptive analysis. They have to have the final end product in their hand. and for them to do a diagnosis. It's kind of like having a coroner be your PCP. You know what I'm saying? Like the coroner can cut you open, can look at your organs and say, yeah, you know what? We found this in this organ, we found that in your body, and this is the likely result of, you know what I'm saying, the cause of death. Because we can see it right here. We can see that your organ failed, it's black and it's shriveled, because, and then I did samples and I took traces. This is what caused it. I don't think coroners would make the best PCPs that are supposed to be proactive. Digital Foundry are like coroners. They're not PCPs. They're coroners. They can cut something open, look at the end result, and tell you how that end result was derived. They're not good at telling you in advance, here's how you get here and here's how you get there. That's not what they're good at. They understand the technologies that are behind some of those things. Like a coroner would understand, you know, some of the things that led to such and such situation with your with the cadaver. But before it got to the cadaver state, when it's a full-fledged person, they're not the people to sit there and talk to. It's the physician, it's the PCP. And I think people got to look at Digital Foundry that way. They are not great stewards of information in advance. They always get it wrong. And I just don't, and to me, even though this is not gameplay, like this is not like, we're not watching them running around the open world. What do you call that? With the draw distance and everything in the, you know, the thing that's really going to strain the game. This is not all that. We know that. And anybody that heard that it was gameplay, that thought it was that type of gameplay, no, they should know better. Like, you're not going to be able to go into active gameplay, you know, pull back the draw distance and everything be that detailed. That's not going to happen. But to know that in the cinematic shots on a PlayStation 5, it looked that good, that is impressive. That part of it said that basically lets you know that the tech that you're using in this game is impressive. How well it's going to run all together, you're never going to know that in a snippet like this. And that was the basic point of the trailer. I mean, to me, it was crystal clear. And if that wasn't important, why examine the trailer at all? Unless you were trying to see the tech being utilized. Okay, so you're trying to use a trailer of cutscenes to see and judge the tech being utilized. Well, don't you get a better perspective of that if you're looking at actual gameplay? Okay, then. So some of the gameplay was mixed in. You're not going to get analysis of how the game performs. That's two totally different buckets. Bucket number one is, how is the game going to be overall and perform once I pick up the controller, run and do everything? That's one thing. You're not going to get that in a trailer like this. You're going to get that in seeing a gameplay demo. But if you want to see and examine the tech being used in the game and see examples of it running, well, here you go. So I think people are losing the nuance. They're either saying, no, this is actual gameplay, or they're saying, oh no, this isn't gameplay. This is just transitions. Like, no, this was not to show you the full gameplay. This was to show you the tech being used. That's why it's all spliced up like that. Nobody should have walked away from this and said, this is going to be the final draft of gameplay. This was showing you the capabilities of the technology being used. You know what I'm saying? And here you go. The lighting and all the other stuff. This is the technology being used. And it did so in a more extensive way than just showing you cutscenes, because we know with cutscenes, you know what I mean? Like, we just saw an example of it. If you were on this channel earlier and saw what I was watching, me playing Clair Obscur, I think there's a bug on PC. That's why I want to copy on, what do you call it? I want to copy for the PlayStation 5 Pro. Get the snake. Yeah, if I get a copy for PlayStation 5, because I think there's a bug on PC. The lighting is off in game. But when the cutscenes came on, I was like, oh shit, this looks awesome. So there are things that you can do in a cutscene that look hella impressive. But the fact that there were actual snippets of gameplay mixed in with the cutscenes, and it was indistinguishable to the naked eye, I think that is impressive. That's impressive, but that doesn't answer everything for the game. That just let people know that have reasonable expectations after looking at that hey, these guys got some impressive tech. Now we got to see how this tech performs in a full-fledged gameplay demo. And that's where I think Digital Foundry got tripped up. They went to a trailer and was like, well, this isn't gameplay, this is gameplay, this isn't gameplay. And was trying to give you determinants of how the game is going to perform by a trailer. You can't even do that with a trailer. Even though there is gameplay in here, you can't do that with gameplay. But the simple fact that they didn't do their research, didn't even pick up the phone and call Rockstar and say, hey, we're assuming this is cutscenes, right? This is all cutscenes. Oh, this isn't all cutscenes. Oh, wow, that's impressive. I mean, it doesn't give us the full answer on the gameplay or a gameplay demo, but now we're seeing the tech being demonstrated in the actual game. That's cool. Okay, awesome. So yeah, I just think people, I think people missed the boat on that. That's my opinion. Coldblood, what do you think about the gameplay, or not the gameplay? I don't want to say the game trailer, and the reaction to it, or in your personal thoughts on what we might or might not get
about GTA 6?
Yeah.
I mean, game looks great, but it's not as oh my god, like holy shit. You know why? Because this time around graphics are already so far above what GTA 6 has done. Like, it doesn't feel like a wow moment. Maybe Rockstar thought they had a wow moment, but really, no. It's just the scale of the game. That is what's really impressive. The scale, the details, and everything. Like, you have fucking bottles and they are fucking see-through, actually. Like, who the fuck gives a damn? But it is detailed like that. So, yeah, I hope the console versions are not gonna be 30 FPS. Like, please give us a fucking unlocked mode or something. I don't know, but no, don't do this. Don't do this to us. At least the pro version. Oh my god! If you do not do it on the pro version, bruh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be mad at Rockstar. I'm gonna be mad at PlayStation because they did not do their job. They did not go to Rockstar and said, hell no, you're gonna put it out like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or some bullshit like 60 FPS patch comes later after launch. Like, nah, fuck that. No. You have a whole year of kinda a delay, but not really. I mean, you never said an actual release date, but you have a whole year time now to get shit right. At least do the pro version the fucking justice it deserves.
Yeah. Here's my thoughts.
Look. 99% of people that are gonna get a pro get it because of this game.
Because of this game, me included.
And if this game runs like fucking dog shit anyway, then what was the point?
What was the point? Yeah, that would be the biggest. Yeah, you'll see the biggest sale off of the used market for PlayStation 5 Pros will be insane. Yeah. It all comes down to this. Like, I'm gonna say this. I'm not as hard on PlayStation for the launch of the Pro as many people are. Because I understand the AI and the machine learning aspects of it. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like every single game looks like DLSS 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, there are select games that are out right now where the performance is very impressive, like a Spider-Man or Stellar Blade, or simply put, the PlayStation 5 Pro takes horrible, horrible base model games and just make them acceptable. It's not like the majority of the PlayStation 5 Pro games are just excellent and stellar. No, you can't make that argument. If you are, you're capping. There are select games that are excellent and stellar, but what you're getting for the most part is you're getting, I don't want to say poorly optimized, but poor performant modes elsewhere, and they're made better on the Pro. They're made acceptable on the Pro.
I can tell you one game that doesn't do the Pro justice at all. It's fucking Oblivion. Oh, holy shit! That game is variable FPS, if we want to call it like that. That is holy shit, bro. It goes from perfect 60 to fucking down to under 20 probably.
Wow.
Fucking slideshow. So yeah, the Pro does not make every game fucking perfect all of a sudden.
Yeah. I mean, and I think people are tolerating that. Not Oblivion, hell no. That should have never. That's another one that should have never got a sticker. I don't give a fuck. But people are tolerating that because look, here's the thing, man. If it's whether it's Pro enhanced or not, if you got a PlayStation 5 Pro, more likely than not, that's your main console. You're going to play it on there regardless. So you don't need to, like, the point of having a sticker, an artificial sticker for a game that doesn't perform well, I think defeats the purpose. I thought PlayStation was over that. Apparently not. Apparently they want to fuck around and find out even more. Like, the whole concept is stupid. Like, why are you giving stickers to games that are not putting the Pro Enhanced label in the best light? It doesn't matter if the game is Pro Enhanced. PlayStation 5 Pro owners aren't going to just simply say, oh, that's not Pro Enhanced, so I'm not going to buy it. They're going to buy it if it's a game that they want to play, they're going to buy it anyway. That's so stupid. What you want to do is you want Pro Enhanced to mean something, so as someone that doesn't have the Pro sees it, they're like, holy fuck, okay, you know, this game that I really want to play is Pro Enhanced, so let me get a PlayStation 5 Pro. Versus people seeing the Pro Enhanced sticker, getting the PlayStation 5 Pro, and them sitting there saying, well, the enhancement really, it's better, but it wasn't what I thought I was getting for an extra $250. And then, you know, they keep getting game after game after game like that. And then they just simply say, you know what? I'll trade this in and go back to the base. You know what I'm saying? Like, they understand that's the dilemma that you cause? Don't do that. If the game isn't Pro Enhanced, so what? If I bought a PlayStation 5, the Pro Enhanced label, what it's supposed to do is attract people that don't have the system. So when they see that a game that they really like is Pro Enhanced and it's really Pro Enhanced, when they get that motherfucking Pro for that game or those games, they are amazed. You don't want to just slap a whole bunch of PlayStation 5 Pro Enhanced labels on games, because when said person goes to pick up the Pro, they'll get it. You're going to get that initial sale, but guess what happens? They trade it in and you don't get the valuable feedback on it because they now got a sour taste in their mouth. I mean, the only thing that's working in the favor of people that may have gone through that scenario is the fact that that Xbox fucked up even more and raised the price of their consoles, and GTA, you know what I'm saying, is on its way out. I mean, it's on its, well, it's getting, even though it got pushed back. But yeah, you have to treat that Pro Enhanced label more special. The purpose of that Pro Enhanced label is to get motherfuckers to come to the platform. Because if the Pro Enhanced label is like, nah, it could be great, it could be mediocre. If that is the people are just gonna, it's not going to compel people. You want the Pro Enhanced label to compel people. It doesn't compel people if it's a variable of this was fantastic to, this was all right, and you sprinkle in a little bit, oh, this is dog shit. You don't do that. And it doesn't matter if it's dog shit on the base model and it's slightly less dog shit on the Pro. It still doesn't get the label. There has to be a standard. You don't exercise that standard, you're cutting, you're hurting yourself. That should be fucking common sense. But okay. All right, let's go check out this Mafia Old Country gameplay. Let's look it up for PlayStation. Share. Copy. Check this out. Yeah, but I just thought it was interesting when it came to GTA 6 that, number one, we're not, did this in no way, in a positive or negative way, this didn't move us any closer to understanding is there more gameplay for this or no?
No, Moss. Yes, there is a little bit more on the website, but it's just showing off the environments a little bit.
Oh, and I see this PAX East thing.
No, what we know with this second trailer now is that the first trailer was not a fucking lie. Like, this is how the game is gonna look. This is what this confirms to me.
Yeah. Yeah, we just gotta know. Okay, it's gonna look great. How's it gonna perform? You know what I'm saying? And we, I don't think.
But now we know it's 30 FPS. That you can get guaranteed 30.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, because of the trailer. Yeah, that is true. And for it to be 30 with all those bells and whistles and look like that on the base model, that is promising. You know, it does grant some hope, but I'm just being cautious. I don't know yet. I want them, because who knows? Now the rumorville is they pushed it back because they didn't want to go through crunch. But what was the crunch? We got the X Skull 13 that just followed us on YouTube. Thank you very much for doing that. Says we got followers on Twitch, unless there people are following and then they're leaving. Keep getting these notifications of followers on Twitch and then, but anyway, so yeah, I just think that the game is going to be using impressive tech, and we just got to see how it performs. You know, that's it. Yeah, you are right. They ran it in 30 frames per second with all that technology. Here's the thing that I'm not buying anything from Digital Foundry because they're like, you can't take the RTI or whatever it is out of it. I'm not paying them any fucking attention.
If Sony was smart, they would do a power move by releasing the same trailer, but this time it's at 60 FPS.
60 frames. Mm-hmm.
If they do that, bro, that is a power move then.
Mm-hmm. I even with the blip on the radar with you know, Hermholst and all that other bullshit, I feel like PlayStation understands the importance of this game having a performance mode at least on the Pro. I think that there might be a performance mode on the base. You know, like I said, it might be, you know, drummed down to all hell. But I wouldn't follow Digital Foundry, because here's another thing too, and this is a disappointing thing with Oliver.
Wait, what if? Wait! I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
What if the Series S can run at 60 FPS?
Oh god! I mean, it would look like that fucking snippet that J-Dub put out there yesterday. The motherfucker was like bit the backwards on the bike and said, "Yeah, they probably do have a look. It's Rockstar. They have an infinite amount of developers at their disposal. They probably do. They probably have found a way. Like, this is another thing we got to understand. Like, Rockstar, they are probably, just off of Grand Theft Auto alone, they're probably one of the most well-funded and resourced developers out there. Like, Grand Theft Auto 5 made enough money to support countries and shit. Made more money than the GDP of a lot of countries and shit. They are one of the most resourced developers out there. No telling what they have at their disposal. No telling what type of technology they have out there that other developers just dream of. Now, that doesn't mean that they, you know, it takes talent to make a great game, but again, the technology they have, who knows? And they probably do have a 60 frames per second mode on the Series S. It probably looks like Phantom Dust, but they probably were able to, that's still a lot more than what a lot of average developers would be able to do on the Series S. Who knows? That's why I'm being very cautious about saying yay or nay in any direction. Who knows? It says, I was like you. I didn't get, no. Hartman, hold on. Why is the chat? I'm sorry, guys. Something's going on with the chat. Hartman's story is and why he ended up how he is amazing. Okay, and I missed that. But I'm here to tell you, we don't. They have infinite amount of developers at their disposal. So we don't know what they're going to be able to do. And within like a 2-month span, Digital Foundry has made us insurances as far as technology is concerned. First, they told us when they looked at FSR 4 oh, this is not part of Project Amethyst. And come to find out, it's part of Project Amethyst. There's nothing that I can see that's part of Project Amethyst. And now they came back and told us, oh, yeah, this is all cutscenes, without checking out the indistinguishable tangibles or making sure there weren't any. I'm not going to believe them on, you can't remove these ray tracing particles. I don't believe them on shit. They are good dissectors post-mortem. That's what they are. They're good coroners. Outside of that, I wouldn't pay Digital Foundry no fucking attention at all. All right, let's check out this video. Mafia, the old country. See what's going on here, and then we talk about it.
I didn't even see this yet.
Oh, you didn't see it? Okay. All right.
No.
Here we go.
Come in. Bravery is not common in this world, Enzo. Loyalty, honor, obedience. They set the man apart from the rest. You took care of Messina, but this matter is not yet resolved. Will you help me bring it to a close? Of course, Tanto Risi. You again.
Okay. All right.
PlayStation.
What you think, Cold Blood?
And we've played it before.
Calling this Mafia, I don't know. This would probably be a better game. I mean, better received if it wasn't called Mafia, to be honest with you.
Well,
Because how is this Mafia? Like, yeah, okay, they got guns, but what about it is Mafia, really?
yeah. I mean, I know Mafia's open world. This is more like a want to be their version of Uncharted. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's the Uncharted. You know, and they made an offshoot, and that's fine. Yeah, you know, I think they used the Mafia name. Yeah, I think Mafia fans that were looking for an open world, a new open world experience, are going to realize this is not a full-fledged sequel, and they're going to be disappointed with that aspect of it.
No, I mean, the price is gonna soften the blow a lot. Like,
Yeah.
If people find out it's not open world and it's linear,
Yeah.
I think $50 is just right.
Yeah, $50 is
for a
fine.
launch price.
Yep. I think that's fine. It might do well. When was it supposed to launch?
No, wait. Did the developers think people gonna go like, holy shit, with this trailer?
I've seen some people. Let me see here.
I don't know, bro. Like, does it look impressive to you? Because to me, it looks like a standard game that would release by a somewhat big studio?
No, I don't. I'm gonna be actually. I don't know who the studio is. Who was it? It was. I hate when YouTube does this. It doesn't let you go back. Okay. Who is this studio? Okay, they're called Hangar 13. I guess it's a new studio. Who's Hangar 13 studio? A new 2K studio.
Hangar 13 are the fucking Mafia developers, bro.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. Oh. All they got, all they done is Mafia. That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, I think it looks like, to me, it looks like a solid single player game. You know, I wasn't, my socks weren't blown off, but it was like a solid single player game. But outside of that, so they're not. I don't know. I thought this was like some smaller independent studio.
I mean, maybe they have a fucking A and B team or whatever. Who knows?
Well, and it's just hard too, man. Like after Grand Theft Auto released, it's hard to put something this much smaller in scale, to put it out there and to garner excitement. No, yeah, people are gonna say, okay. They're gonna look at it and they're like, all right, okay, that's cool, I guess. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I think it looks solid. They might have to show a little bit more. Well, no, they will have to show a little bit more, because yeah, coming out and doing this the same time that GTA came out, that's gonna suck the oxygen out of the room. I think nobody's talking about it because of that. It just wasn't large scale enough to make people switch from GTA, and definitely not Death Stranding. Like they're in a bad way. And I think the only thing that got people talking about it is the fact that it's $50. That's the only thing that got people talking about it.
Of course, because brother, gaming is so fucking expensive now that a game made by a AAA studio and it's only $50 is being talked about.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I hope developers are getting the message that if your game ain't fucking big or something, don't put a price tag of $70 on it or even $80.
All right. Well, it's 3:00. Yep. Okay. Well, that is our show for today. We will be back. Well, Cold Blood, we might be able to do the show. Would you be willing to do the show earlier if we can? Because normally we wouldn't do the show until this time right now tomorrow, but I might be able to do it a couple of hours earlier because I had to switch my whole schedule around this week. Would you be up to that?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I'll keep you posted.
Okay, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, we're gonna get out of here, y'all. We appreciate everybody coming through and checking us out. We will be here. We will be on YouTube tomorrow. So join us. MM2K Gaming News. YouTube, if you want to see the episode of the newest episode of NRO Podcast, episode 101. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching this several hours before the show because we're going to release this tomorrow on YouTube at 7 a.m. So yeah, stay tuned. Hit that notification bell so you know when we are going live, okay, on YouTube. That's one of our biggest problems, that we can't get people to hit that bell and select it to all. Okay. All right, y'all. Till next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.